You're listening to The Scrimmage with Daniel Hargrove and Justin Domashevitz.
Let's move on to something much more happy.
Yeah.
Our March Sadness bracket.
Oh,
no.
Well, the first round of voting in our best sitcom bracket is done. I was really happy with the amount of people that commented and shared and voted. I had so many people telling me, oh, you really screwed up the seating on this one. I can't believe you did that. And I love that. Please keep bringing the insults. It's awesome. There weren't a ton of upsets in this round, but there were a couple of things that surprised me about the way that they went. So in the first region, we had number one seeded Office beating King of Queens. The Office got 88% of the vote. No surprise there.
Not a shocker.
We had fifth seeded How I Met Your Mother crushing Community.
Yeah, that bummed me out
which
a
was a
bit.
4 seed.
That doesn't surprise me.
It didn't surprise me that How I Met Your Mother won. It surprised me that it got 79% of the vote.
Yeah.
It was a landslide. The other one, this was one of the two real true upsets in the bracket. Scrubs, 56% of the vote over 30 Rock. Scrubs was a 6 seed. 30 Rock was a 3. That was a close vote the whole way through.
Yeah, I feel like 30 Rock is underappreciated.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know what 30 Rock was before my brother started watching it and sending me bits of it. And I don't hear about it a ton.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously one that's totally in tune with what people are talking about.
Of course.
But I thought that was...
I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love 30 Rock, and so this very
really
easily could have been a case of me overseeding something that I really like because I was blind to the fact that it was not appreciated as much.
Yeah, see, I like 30 Rock, but Scrubs was a very long-standing show.
I just don't like it. I watched a few episodes, and I just didn't care for it.
Your life might be too happy for it. Because
love
it constantly...
Scrubs
was
honestly.
hilarious, but also, when I was going through a depressing time in my life, I latched on to those depressing episodes very much so, and it meant something to me, man.
There's depressing episodes, and that's the positive note of Scrubs?
No, it's why people latch onto it so much.
Okay.
Because it hit you in the feels, man.
I just liked the funny episodes.
Well, Scrubs got 50,
hilarious.
and that was a close one, but Scrubs got 56% of the vote and was the second biggest upset in the bracket. And then Parks and Rec getting 83% of the vote over the Jeffersons. So in that region, we'll have The Office versus How I Met Your Mother. That's a 1-5, and then Scrubs versus Parks and Rec. That's a 6-2 matchup.
I think we're all seeing the writing on the wall that Parks and Rec and The Office are going to be battling it out between a bunch of fans that love both shows and are going to feel so conflicted voting for one or the other.
I mean, I'm going to vote for The Office.
I'm voting for Parks and Rec.
I'm going to log into your phone and vote for Parks and Rec.
I'm going to vote for The Office, but I love Parks and Rec. I really do. And then moving on to the next region, we had number one Friends, which is the only show that I actively campaigned against. I shared it to Facebook a few times saying, please vote for Everybody Loves Raymond so Friends can be out. But top-seeded Friends still beat Everybody Loves Raymond, getting 69% of the vote.
Very handily.
Arrested Development, no real surprise here, beat Will and Grace, got 64% of the vote. Arrested Development was the 4 seed. Third-seeded Modern Family got 69% of the vote against It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So third-seeded Modern Family moves on to the second round. Big Bang Theory got 81% of the vote against Eastbound and Down. No surprise there.
Yeah, I guess no one's heard of that.
Again,
after Justin's update video where he said you had to be more sophisticated to like Eastbound and Down.
Actually, I think you have to be the opposite of sophisticated to appreciate Eastbound and Down, but I really enjoyed that show. So that region will be 1-seeded Friends going up against 4-seeded Arrested Development. 3rd-seeded Modern Family going up against Big Bang Theory. That's the only region where it went 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
But those are both those could both be really good matchups.
Yeah. I'm liking that a little bit. I'm definitely voting for Arrested Development.
Same here.
I'm going to do everything I can to campaign against Friends. I want them to be the first 1 seed to go down. In the next region, Seinfeld,
No.
as a 1 seed, got 69%.
Nice.
Over Malcolm in the Middle as an 8 seed.
That was my one contribution to the bracket.
And this next one, I think, again, I wasn't surprised that this one won. I was surprised at how much it won by.
I was surprised by the number on this one.
But 5th seeded Fresh Prince of Bel-Air got 68% of the vote, beating Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, I wasn't surprised that Fresh Prince won.
That's the nostalgia.
That actually got even a little bit closer. There was a point early in voting where Fresh Prince of Bel-Air had over 80% of the vote.
Wow.
On that one. Then we had Frasier getting 79% of the vote as a third seed, beating the IT crowd without too much of an issue, and Cheers getting 86% of the vote against 7-seeded Curb Your Enthusiasm. So this is a couple of really interesting matchups in this region too, because you have Seinfeld going up against Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And that could be really interesting because Seinfeld, as a show about nothing, is a show that some people who really like sitcoms think is stupid. Like my wife, for example, she hates Seinfeld. But we love Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
And like I said last week, as like a young teen and maybe like the older age of my childhood years, Fresh Prince was maybe my favorite show.
Yeah, it was the best.
And then we'll have third-seeded Frasier going up against second-seeded Cheers, which is interesting, as we pointed out last week, because Frasier is a spin-off of Cheers.
Yes.
And they're both great shows.
Yeah, but I like Frasier better.
Oh, I'd vote for Cheers in this one for sure.
Ooh, I'm going Frasier.
No question.
I've seen all of Frasier. I have not seen all of Cheers.
I think there's... I'd have to go back and check, but I think there's buttloads of episodes. I think there's a lot of Cheers. I think it lasted a long time.
Yeah, it did. But for me, Cheers was focused on the main character of Sam Malone, who you always wanted to be a really good guy. And
he often let you down.
He let you down a ton.
Yeah.
And Frasier lets you down, but not, I don't know.
But Sam in the end, Sam Malone generally did the right thing in the end. It wasn't like we use the example of Eastbound and Down, where you have a character that keeps letting you down.
Yeah.
And as he keeps letting you down, you realize, oh, he's just kind of a crappy person.
Yeah.
And Sam Malone was different because usually he'd have the moment at the end of the episode where he'd realize, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was the opposite of, Danny McBride's character in Eastbound and Down. But
both former pitchers.
I think the draw about Cheers is who hasn't occasionally wished that there was a bar like Cheers where you live. Like,
that's true.
I think it was the coolest thought to think that there would be a place you could go where there's some community. Like, even the layout of the bar was perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. But who also doesn't watch Frasier from the Northwest and go, hey, I know that spot.
Yeah.
It's because it's in Seattle.
That's true.
I loved that about that show.
And then in the final region, we had 1 seed I Love Lucy, which was the closest of the 1 seed matchups, had 59% of the vote, beating 8-seeded Wonder Years.
That was close.
And then I Love Lucy will take on 4-seeded Gilligan's Island,
Ooh.
which had the single closest matchup in the whole bracket, getting 53% of the vote over Golden Girls.
Man.
So we'll have...
That's a travesty.
Yeah. I mean, there is a real legitimate possibility that Gilligan's Island could knock out I Love Lucy in the second round.
That's what I'm voting for.
Well, one of them's funny.
And we
Just joking.
this one proved me wrong for sure, and definitely let some of my personal biases show. But MASH got 68% of the vote and had no problem with Get Smart. This was one of the ones that I had picked as a potential upset here, was that Get Smart might beat MASH.
And while I love Get Smart, I knew that MASH would clean up here.
Yeah, yes, you did call that. Congratulations. And then the biggest upset in the bracket, which was also a very predictable upset, Happy Days beats All in the Family. Again, All in the Family, not a pleasant show to watch, really, but it was regarded as a very important show and crucial to the way TV developed and blah, 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 groundbreaking, whatever. But Happy Days got 78% of the vote to move on to the next round. So we'll have I Love Lucy against Gilligan's Island and MASH against Happy Days in the second round there.
Well, I gotta say, I have to congratulate you on being the one person selection committee.
Thank you.
Because it's done a pretty good job so far. You haven't seen too many crazy upsets.
Daniel.
What?
You're not supposed to be congratulating him.
You're terrible. How dare
you.
you not put Good Place in here?
Thank you. I you know what? There was two shows. Well, The Good Place is one that...
Snubs are the best part.
What did Francis say on Facebook? He was giving us a real hard time.
The Good Place is one that I thought about and decided to leave out. Maybe it was a mistake. I don't know. I really enjoyed that show. It is newer. It didn't run very long. It was hard to get a real feel for where it ranks with all the other ones.
Yeah.
The one that I really feel like I missed out on was Schitt's Creek. Because that's the one that Francis pointed out to me on Facebook, and that I immediately went, oh, I just totally forgot about that show.
Yeah.
I really like that show because we've talked a lot about in these shows about characters and whether they're likable or not. Schitt's Creek is a show that's full of crappy people with redeeming qualities. Mm-hmm. So like you grow to love them over the course of the show. To the point where you, like, in the beginning, you're like, I would never be friends with that person.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, you're like, oh, I could kind of see it maybe.
Yeah. I mean, you're a terrible person, so you'd be friends with them all anyway.
Well, I am a terrible person, but I don't really like being friends with people.
Oh, that's a good point.
And people don't like being friends with me, so it's a perfect matchup.
All right, so a little recap. We got The Office taking on How I Met Your Mother.
Go How I Met Your Mother.
Scrubs versus Parks and Rec. Oh, I thought Andrew was going to do that for all of them.
No, sorry.
Friends versus Arrested Development. Modern Family taking on Big Bang Theory. Seinfeld against Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Frasier against Cheers. I Love Lucy against Gilligan's Island.
Go Gilligan's Island.
And MASH taking on Happy Days.
Do you guys have predictions for this round?
Oh.
Well,
there will be voting.
I think it's going to be The Office. I think it's going to be The Office versus Parks and Rec in that one.
Yeah, me too.
And I think in the next
agree.
region down, I think I'm going to call Arrested Development upsetting Friends here.
We can't agree on everything, Justin. Yes.
I don't know about that one. Friends has a wide appeal, and Arrested Development is a love it or hate it.
You know, it's interesting too because as I was campaigning against Friends, I think it had like a reverse effect.
Yeah.
Where people were like, well, what? You're not getting rid of Friends. And then they went and voted because the voting was closer. The voting was like 60%. And then I went on and started asking people to vote against Friends. And then it got higher and higher.
And everybody's like, Justin's a jerk. I'm going to do the opposite of what he says.
Okay, so then...
Make sure you campaign for The Office a lot.
Office doesn't need my campaign. This might be one of the maybe the most interesting one to me on the board is Modern Family, which is a 3 seed against Big Bang Theory as a 2. I really like both of these shows a lot.
I think Big Bang Theory is going to win. From my general read on what's popular and what gets referenced a lot. I mean, Sheldon gets referenced a lot.
Yeah,
I would think that Big Bang Theory would win this one.
I agree.
I agree with that one.
Seinfeld versus Fresh Prince.
I think Fresh Prince is going to win that. I think there's so many people that watched that as kids that love Will Smith.
Yeah. And
I still think Seinfeld's going to win this matchup, but I think it's going to be really close. I mean... I'm taking my prediction. This isn't what I want, but I think Fresh Prince is going to be in the championship. Okay. I would love that.
That's
because that would mean taking down Seinfeld and then either Frasier or Cheers.
Yep.
That seems very plausible.
You know, as I was saying, like old people are voting on this. I have to read you guys a text that I got. From my dad. Okay. He said...
Does your dad have Twitter?
Here's the deal.
You texted him.
I'm going to start with this. He said, I saw your bracket on Mom's Facebook. That's very nice. Hold on a second. I'm reading the wrong tweet. Okay, he said, I love your March Sadness bracket show. Very funny. I would like to vote, but I don't have one of those Tweeter or Spotify machines. Can I get one of those at Walmart? And then he says, by the way, come on, Happy Days as a 7 seed? And then my dad
actually... Think it should be higher or lower?
Higher.
Oh, okay.
My parents both signed up for a Twitter account so they could vote on this.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And so then when I noticed that my dad followed us, I said, "Did you buy a tweeter machine?" And he said they didn't have any at Walmart. They acted like they'd never heard of it. I guess they're just not up with the times. A guy at the register heard our conversation and for only $20 told me how to beat their system and get on without buying their machine. That's $20 well spent.
I love your dad.
Yeah, he's pretty great. So, so I still think as old people are voting in this, this is going to be a close one, but I think Seinfeld beats out Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, man. My sister also apparently doesn't use the Twitter because she commented on one of our posts that was like, wait, do I have to get this tweet air thing?
Yeah.
How do I get the tweeter?
The tweetor.
Yeah.
Well, there's two... The two easiest ways to do it would be Twitter and Facebook, but Facebook pages doesn't have a polls option anymore. So it was Twitter.
Yeah.
Unless I wanted to go through the process of actually like creating a web
Facebook,
page and embedding polls, and I didn't want to do that.
Facebook is very frustrating to try to run a page on, just from personal experience.
Yes.
Then 3-seeded Frasier against 2-seeded Cheers.
This is the matchup of the tournament.
I think Cheers comes out.
This would be like UW and Washington State playing in the Sweet 16.
I think
this would be like Oregon versus Oregon. Okay, you're right.
Can you pick one where I don't feel like you're slamming one or the other of the teams?
I think I should pick. This would be like Duke versus North Carolina in the Sweet 16.
Which one's Duke?
Okay.
The Cheers, of course.
Well, now I'm going to pick Frasier.
Woo! Played, sir.
Moving on to the next region. I Love Lucy will be going up against Gilligan's Island. I Love Lucy is the 1 seed, but it's a ridiculously old show that is maybe hasn't stood the test of time. Gilligan's Island is an easy watch with lots of slapstick comedy.
Also ridiculously old, though, and possibly hasn't stood the test of time.
That's possible. Yeah, that's possible. But I think Gilligan's Island is funnier.
I think so. Also.
So there's a chance this could be a 4 beating a 1.
Yeah, one of these shows, when I see on TV, I will click away from immediately, and the other one I will stay and watch.
You're angering all of the Lucy fans
I know,
out there.
All those Lucys. My favorite part about I Love Lucy was actually the part they played in the movie Rat Race.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. The bus full of
Lucy fans.
Lucy fans in dressed and acting like Lucy, going to a I Love Lucy convention.
Yes.
Wait, did you say when you're flipping through channels?
Yeah, you're right. I don't do that
Who flips
anymore.
through channels anymore?
I do it at a hotel sometimes.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Hotel, you don't have much choice there.
Yeah.
Usually. The final matchup of this round, MASH, which is a 3 seed going up against Happy Days as a 7. Daniel, you really stuck with MASH. You think MASH again?
I don't know, because these two are from the similar... Are they? Yes, similar eras?
I mean, they're both old.
MASH is later than Happy Days, I think.
That would be my first thought, but I don't know. MASH holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts. And I gotta admit, when I started watching it, I thought it was hilarious. It's really funny. But it's also mixed in with that life that so many people had to go through of the Vietnam War.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is just crammed full of what so many people related to and would hit you. Like, they would be like, there'd be a party scene where they're like all having fun, and then an air raid siren would go off or something like that, and they'd be like, oh, we have to run to the surgery to put all these people back together. And it was just that, I don't know, the emotions that you felt watching that show were very interesting and weird, and how it would flip on you.
Feelings.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
My general policy with television is I don't want to watch anything that's gonna try to make me feel feelings.
How come you watch?
Because if
The Office,
there's no feelings in that show. I don't feel feelings when I watch that show.
Scott's Tots.
cringy. That was legitimately super cringy.
That was the worst.
But like all these people who watch stuff
the
like
only episode of anything that I have stopped watching.
yeah,
I was watching it alone.
That was rough.
And just couldn't handle it.
Scott's Tots on The Office. In case you haven't seen it, watch all the episodes except for that one. It's really really cringy. But I just feel like there's enough feelings and emotion in everyday life. Why am I going to watch something on television in my
But you watch
downtime?
Sports. You watch North Carolina lose game after game after game.
I am going to punch you in the face.
I'm not even making fun of you.
Yes, you are.
You do watch.
You're bad at not making fun of people.
You do watch television to feel feelings.
No, not those kind of feelings. So, of the two, last question. Of the two upsets,
okay.
Scrubs, which beat 30 Rock and is now going up against Parks and Rec, or Happy Days, which beat All in the Family and is going up against MASH. Which one is more likely to win?
I think that Happy Days has the better chance to win over MASH.
Me too.
Than Scrubs over Parks and Rec.
I agree.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay.
I wanted to disagree.
It's interesting. 2 medical shows there versus very happy shows. One even says happy in it. And one says park. Parks are happy and recreation. All right.
So
We're
if
going to take...
If you want to vote on the polls, go to our Twitter page at The Scrimmage. They are up right now.
Yeah, get that Twitter machine. We're going to take a
no,
break.
Walmart's out of them, Daniel.
We're going to take a break. It's not just a home or a car. It's the 6 months you save to get your Ultra HD flat screen just in time for football season. It's the overtime you worked for that third car so that your team can drive themselves to practice. While other insurance companies just see them as a bundle or a combo, State Farm agent Mark Rossetti sees your home and car as things you work really hard for. Mark understands what your things really mean to you and is here to help you give them the protection they deserve. Visit Mark Rossetti at 613 Oak Street in Aberdeen for your home and auto insurance today. Again, the scrimmage is brought to you by our friends at Ole Penn Real Estate, Mark Rossetti, Agent State Farm, and the law offices of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz. Thank you so much. Seriously, it's so cool that we have sponsors now. Am I the only one that's like super giddy about cool. that?
But also, people, make sure you support our sponsors that support us. And if you go to them, make sure you tell them that you heard about them on our show.
Yes, absolutely. And also, I feel like I should mention something.
And if you go to Mr. Domashevitz, tell him that you heard about us on Twitter.
The tweeter machine.
Tweeter machine. Now, what do we got in the mailbag?
We got a couple of questions. One is, Ice Cube is considering creating a big 3-league and reality show to broadcast during the self-quarantine period. Would you watch it, and what would you hope that would be like? So, for those of you who don't know, Ice Cube runs a basketball league, or a basketball tournament called Big 3. And it's 3-on-3 basketball, and they've had like a bunch of former NBA players and really good, high-quality basketball. And his idea was have like a barracks that everybody is tested prior to going in, nobody in or out, and you have all these people who you know are coronavirus negative that can play basketball. They're all in the same place. So I think the original thought was, let's quarantine them so no one can get in or out, and then have them play basketball against each other. And then he thought, oh, we'll just add a reality show, so it'd be like Big Brother. They're all stuck in one place together, and so you have the basketball side of it and then the reality show side of it as well.
I would watch the crap out of that.
Yeah. I would watch it so hard.
Yes.
I tend to not like those types of shows. I would be very interested. I like Ice Cube, and I also, honestly, not joking, really like watching 3-on-3 basketball. Outside of a handful of really exciting high school games or college games that I've been at, the most fun I've ever had in relation to basketball is going to Hoop Fest at Spokane, where they shut down the entire city and every single street is people playing 3-on-3 basketball. And the big watching like the elite high school players and do they have pro players?
They have some former pro players there, yeah.
And college guys, like really good college players.
I feel like it's where you get an opportunity to actually show off what the NBA is guys trying to play 3-on-3, but they're still playing 5-on-5 basketball. 3-on-3 basketball, it's all about those one-on-one moves and it's great fun.
Yeah. I would love it. I mean, watching 3-on-3 watching any sports right now. I don't know about you guys.
Seriously.
I've been watching the Dude Perfect live broadcasts of their random stuff that they've been doing. Have you seen those on YouTube?
No.
They've been doing the Quarantine Classic. They've done 3-on-3 roller office chair hockey. Watched that. They did a golf tournament around their office building. I watched that. They've done a 3-point contest. Like, I'm watching all of it right now.
I would hope that since
also they're asking people to donate to the Red Cross. So
I'd be much more interested in watching the basketball side of it than the reality show side. So
Yeah.
what I would hope they would do is have the basketball games broadcast as basketball games, and then have the reality show be like a separate thing.
Yeah.
Not have the whole thing be like a reality show, and then during the reality show they play basketball.
Yeah,
I
for
agree.
sure.
I think I probably
Yes.
would watch both anyway. But if the basketball was the main point of it, and then the reality show was supplementary, I would love that.
I am absolutely with you. So it's not so much like a production where you're like
Right.
in the basketball game and all of a sudden they clip out to, this is what these two guys were talking about before when they were eating lunch. And
Yeah,
they're like,
exactly. I want to watch the game, and then later I want to watch the reality show of everything that happened around it.
exactly. Yeah, I'm very much with you on that one.
Okay, last mailbag question. If you were to star in a movie, what kind of movie would it be, and what kind of role would you have? I actually have...
I have 2 quick reactions on this
Yes.
one. What are yours?
Well, I have a thought for both of you, and for
okay.
myself, but I want to hear what you think first.
Okay, well, for me, my first reaction was playing shortstop in a baseball movie, even if that wasn't the main character. Like, I was just like, I could do that. I could play movie baseball. I could make it look good. And that would be a blast to be in a movie about baseball and maybe show some of the inside weirdness that happens there. But then also, I mean, how could you not want to be in like some crazy spy action movie where you get to run around and do spy stuff?
I mean, you could want that, but if you look at yourself... I'm not saying... That was not a shot at you. I'm saying introspectively.
Yeah, but
If you're looking at yourself, what kind of
is
movie
that
could you have?
supposed to
No.
Justin.
I wasn't saying you can't.
see, that was my question about this question is this what kind of movie we would want to be
No,
in?
what kind of role do you
because
see
I don't
yourself
think
in?
I could star in a movie.
Okay.
Well, that's probably...
You could be a hobbit.
So, Andrew would be Frodo.
No, I would be Pippin or
Mary.
Mary
I don't know
because
who
I'm
any of
taller.
those
I'm
people are.
taller than the normal Hobbit.
Yeah, that's true.
Which one's Mary?
Meriadoc Brandybuck?
Yeah.
Frodo's one of them, right?
Yep.
Yes, there you go.
And Bilbo's one of them, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
You're good so far.
That's
well
the
done.
extent of my Lord of the Rings knowledge, which is
Okay.
a movie that I fell asleep in twice.
It's not a movie.
So boring.
It's a book.
Yeah, Andrew. I'm gonna read a book. In 2020, when I'm not in school, I'm gonna read a book.
Why are you in school in 2020? You're
No, that's
like
what I'm saying.
35-year-old man.
I'm saying, students have an excuse to read a book.
Okay.
Like an adult in 2020 is reading a book.
You know they have.
Do they
books
not
on
have a
Kindles
television?
now? You can use a device.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
very futuristic.
I'm very curious as to your thoughts for not only yourself but for Andrew and I.
Okay, so I see Andrew. Have you
especially since I went in like things I wanted to do,
Yeah.
not in things that I would do.
Yeah, because
because
if it was things I wanted to do, Die Hard.
Okay,
I'm John McClane.
But it's looking
Obviously.
at yourself through a realistic lens and thinking about what kind of movie you think you would be best suited for.
And I'm the star of that movie.
You can be, or you could be a
You
side.
have to, no, it says if you were to
The
star,
star
in a
Well,
movie.
I wrote the question, so I reserve the right to change it if I feel like it.
I don't know. I feel like you needed a second or amendment and a second on that.
Wait, you're making up these questions?
Maybe.
Let's see.
Have you guys ever seen the movie Green Street Hooligans?
That's about soccer hooligans, right?
Yeah.
I have not watched it.
I view Andrew as like Elijah Hood's character in Green Street Hooligans, where he was kind of like a passive, like semi-half nerd, and then he got involved in the soccer gang and became kind of like a gruff, rough and tumble sort of a soccer gang member.
I could see that, except for
Yeah.
it'd have to be a rugby version of it.
I think they're
Yeah, 'cause-
interchangeable. I felt like it was an interchangeable rugby soccer thing, but that's kind of what I thought of him.
I can see that.
I view you as more like a 90s heartthrob Freddie Prinze Jr. kind of a thing. Like the like the male with the hair, and you're like the male love interest of the story in some kind of a romantic comedy.
Okay.
That's
I
it.
will take that to the bank. I will be,
Or maybe a spy. I don't know.
I will be Chris Pratt's first role in Everwood any day. So what did you see for yourself?
I view myself as like a
wait, no, I'm gonna go with King of Queens. What's his name?
Kevin James.
Kevin James. Anything that Kevin James
So
has
I
starred
view
in.
myself as like a Paul Blart Mall Cop, which is Kevin James, and it's exactly what I was feeling. Like over the top, dramatic, goofy, fat guy
Yeah.
with maybe some surprising athletic ability. Who knows?
He is. Him and Jack Black might be the best athletes for their build
Chris
of all
Farley.
time. And Chris Farley, yes. Going more into that, I would have loved to be like Lewis Stevens from Even Stevens. I loved that show, and I loved that character.
One of the fun things about this like self-quarantine social distancing that we've come across is that Disney Plus has all these old shows that I used to watch when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to like give the kids something to watch. We're watching through Boy Meets World right now, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's
But
good.
I tried to put on Even Stevens for them, and they didn't really like it.
Really?
Yeah, they weren't into it.
Oh, it doesn't hold up, huh?
Also, Sean O'Neill, our friend and former guest co-host, came up with an idea on Facebook that as part of social distancing, he's just going to mute everybody for 30 days on Facebook if they try to start an argument about coronavirus.
Okay.
So I think that we should call that social media distancing.
I
Just
can
mute
get-
everyone on Facebook who mentions the coronavirus.
I was
this
just
one.
going to mute everyone on Facebook.
Or I guess it's if
And
you
you don't get on Facebook anyway.
if you
Problem
try
solved.
to start an argument about coronavirus or post something controversial about coronavirus, you get muted for 30 days. I think I'm going to start practicing social media distancing.
It's a good plan.
Am.
Yeah. I mean, besides just trying to push out our bracket tweets, I'm doing only show related stuff pretty much.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I'm very interested in the type of movies that we could put Andrew in besides that.
Like what?
I don't know.
Well, we've got Lord of the Rings where he's a hobbit.
I'm trying to think of his favorite movies. Like, I got one, especially with his car. Andrew should be in a Mad Max movie.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What kind of character would he be in Mad Max?
He would be...
Is he a leader or a follower?
No, he is one of the...
I
in
better
the new
be
ones.
Max.
No, he's one of the guys in the new one that's like trying to drink gas, and it's like, what a lovely day!
That doesn't sound like me at
I've
all.
only watched one of those Mad Max movies.
Or the guy who's strapped to the speakers, just jamming on a guitar with flames coming out. Just...
Everything in a Mad Max movie is dirty.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, you would hate
Filthy.
it.
I watched one with you when we went to Hoop Fest last year.
I forgot that I made us watch that.
Yeah, we watched
Which one did...
the
You
first
watched the
one.
new one.
Oh,
we didn't watch the first one?
No.
Did we watch the Mel Gibson one?
No.
Then yeah, we watched the new one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the very first one is the only one that I would consider it's a good movie. It's not an easy watch. It's brutal but it's Mel Gibson as a young Mel Gibson.
Just dirt and grime everywhere.
The others, I love all of the movies, but the others are not good. They're not classics of cinema history. They're just
yucky.
They're just yucky. Yeah,
I don't like things that are yucky.
Lots of loud, violent metal.
All right, now that we're done with all of our mailbag questions, I will bring up the last sporting event seemingly in the world to come to completion here during this, and that is the Iditarod ended.
Yeah.
And Thomas Warner, he's Norwegian, so maybe it's Thomas Warner.
Varner.
I'm going to get so much angry messages about that probably. Anyway, he easily won the Iditarod Trail sled dog race across Alaska. He finished with a time of 9 days, 10 hours, 37 minutes, and 47 seconds. And Andrew's sister was there at the finish line when he crossed the finish line.
How does it take? How do you win a race if it takes you 9 days to do it?
So this is
it helps
pretty
when
cool.
Other people also take 9 days. First of all,
the Iditarod is a pretty cool race because it's literally impassable during the summer. Like the only way to get to Nome, Alaska, by land is during the winter. I suppose you could probably take something else that could go on the same trails, but traditionally it's sled dogs, and so that's where the race originated.
Oh, it's like Cuba Gooding Jr. and Snow Dogs.
oh my gosh,
Is it like the exact same thing as that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what that is.
It's a movie
With
snow dog racing.
well, yes,
maybe then.
I mean, it is snow dog racing. That is what the idea. Did you not even know what this was?
No, I heard it.
You know,
I heard it mentioned on the radio this week, and that was the first time I've ever heard of it. Was it on the Ocho?
did you ever watch the movie Iron Will growing up?
No.
I'm not sure what Snow Dogs is, but Iron Will is a pretty good comparison because they're like racing for days and days and days. And they're trying to race as long as possible, and the temperatures are just frigid. And
Okay, Justin, the Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race is an annual long-distance sled dog race.
Bored already.
it's nearly 1,000 miles,
Still bored.
and people die. No, people don't die. You know why they don't die? Because 3 mushers in Alaska were rescued by a helicopter pilot, who we also know because...
Married to my sister.
Yes.
Maybe they don't die because it's not that dangerous. I'm just saying.
They got rescued by a helicopter. I even got a picture here of his helicopter.
Who hasn't been rescued by a helicopter at some point in their lives?
But I mean, big shout out to Jared Sheeler, helicopter pilot who rescued 3 of those sled dog racers. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, the trail was flooded apparently, and they couldn't get through.
I liked it when you were talking about the helicopter pilot, and then you started talking about the trail again, and I got bored.
You know what? It's things like you that make us end the show.
Do you have a legal situation and need someone on your side? Let the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz be your advocate. If you've been the victim of medical malpractice, suffered a personal injury, or need representation with real estate law, small business law, or estate planning, let Jeff Domashevitz put his 29 years of experience to work for you. Call Jeff Domashevitz today at 360-612-3991 or visit domashevitzlaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com.